So Holger, clearly with the prevalence of AI and machine learning, there's a lot of AI and ML washing going on. A lot of vendors are claiming that they now have AI, ML embedded in their systems, embedded in their cloud. Things that were formerly, system management software are now magically AI and machine learning embedded. What's your take on all this?
Well, everything has to be AI. It's the sticker of the decade if you're, maybe 5 years, let's not give it a decade yet. But there's two important use cases of it, and this is why there's confusion. One of them is that vendors use AI to enable their products to do better, smarter things. Usually it's machine learning for that. The other one is companies building their own AI applications. Both of them can be confused in the context of Oracle because you provide the data for both and the systems for that. But at the end of the day, for companies, what matters is, does it really work? And they want to see reference and use cases. So some examples where machine learning has been applied in the Oracle product, Steve.
Well, yeah, obviously, if you look at what we introduced with Exadata X8, which extends to Exadata X8M, and you can run it essentially on any of the Oracle Exadatas that a customer may have. With Oracle Database 19c, we've essentially taken technology that was delivered in the form of autonomous database and made a capability known as automatic indexing available on premises in both the Exadatas and our new Gen 2 Exadata Cloud customer. What automatic indexing does is, let's take an example, NetSuite. NetSuite running on Oracle Database 19c on an Exadata. You can take 15 years of indexing made for NetSuite, 15 years of the best DBAs tuning NetSuite to run optimally on Oracle Database, 15 years of indexes, and let it run for 24 hours on an Exadata, and you will have superior performance than the 15 years of indexes that were created by humans have done.
That's an impressive showcase, especially because the CIO will know I'm not going to run all of NetSuite. I'm going to run, maybe because I'm not a small company which NetSuite targets, maybe I'm going to be 10 NetSuites or 20 NetSuites, but I'm not going to be the, 4-digit or 5-digit customer number that NetSuite has. So that gives you peace of mind and shows the benefit of AI working.
Well, yeah, that just shows you that why do you manually want to tune applications and then retune the indexes?
Well, you can't.
And then do the indexes again another year later. This way, if there's an org change, for example, you're not dealing with more index changes later on.
15 years of experience, which NetSuite has, a successful SaaS vendor in their own right, by trying to do the best to keep their service running as fast as possible.
And a machine learning.
And machine learning can beat that in a day of usage. It shows that machines can process data better. We kind of knew that, but can also now get the inference and necessary machine learning to put that into action. And that's what really matters, right? Previously, 15 years ago, NetSuite didn't have the chance and hire a good person who knows how to put the indices on there. Performance wasn't great, come in, do workshop, test something, and so on. That was the best way of doing it. But kind of like today feels like the Stone Age compared to that, because you were scaling with a talented individual who had to come in, had the right idea, try the right thing. You might have to buy new hardware for that compared to what you can do today with the modern systems.
Well, the other thing I think to point out, Holger, is this automatic indexing capability. You can run on Exadata, you can run on Gen 2 Exadata Cloud customer, you can get an autonomous database, the Oracle Public Cloud.
Yeah.
Where else can you get it? A lot of these vendors say they're ideal for Oracle Database, they enable optimal performance, but without automatic indexing, the thing is...
The index is there to make the performance better. So if you can optimize your index faster, you're probably going to run the better platform. But the other important thing I see is the next part where companies have to build and want to build their own machine learning or AI models. And what they have in an Oracle database typically is the system of record, their transactions. Now, they tell a history, but they're also equally relevant because you want to create business success, and business success means more data into systems of transactions. So if I can query the systems of record, the transactional systems faster to complement my AI, I'm going to have better and faster deep learning mechanisms and benefits in my systems. I can do better next best action. What should happen next for my employees, for my customers, for my prospects, for my suppliers. And that creates superior processing. So the performance of an OTP system, an OTP database, which kind of has been poo-pooed a little bit in the past because not the new cloud scale, no SQL, whatever you might be saying part, is an essential part for successful deep learning in the enterprise. Because the interesting thing is if you want to get more entries in your system of record, meaning business success, you need to have the system of record available to complement all your decisions which you're making as close as possible to real time at as low cost as you can.
Now, Holger, with Oracle Exadata, running Oracle Database 19c, you can do in-database machine learning, you can run automatic indexing. All the data stays in the Exadata. You don't have to move it anywhere. How does that compare to other options in the market?
Well, it's huge because in the Exadata most likely is the Oracle database, which is your transactional system, your system of record. And your records are essential for you to predicting anything machine learning and AI on top of additional data which might not be transactional. And there's something called data gravity. Data attracts more data to itself, and moving data is very expensive. Networking is slow, it's expensive, getting data out of the cloud is expensive too. So if you can run your machine learning and AI on top of Exadata, it definitely has a performance advantage and probably a cost advantage.
With Exadata, we're moving the compute to the data.
Right.
Everybody else is moving the data to the compute.
Right.
So by running a completely engineered system, that simplifies it for customers significantly. There's no ETLs going on. It's all within the same system.
Correct.
You just run your AI.
As long as you can scale and run your AI on the machine. That's the other big challenge.
Right. You're either building, machine learning models, or you're running automatic indexing, for example, but you don't have to move the data like you do with other
And
approaches.
the data is moving real time. So if you're not doing a classic transactional kind of like move the data, learn, and X days, weeks, quarters later you come back with a model, which works for less and less use cases. If you have a live system where people are calling in, recording orders, having all kinds of live parts which goes in your system of record, you have to be close to that system of record because you can't even get the data which is happening in your business out so quickly to the rest of the information. So moving the process closer to where the data is happening is so important from a data gravity perspective. And what you're running into is that the best practice, because where AI needs to be kind of like infinite. There can't be any scale limitation. I don't know how much data I need tomorrow for that. The typical answer to that is the public cloud. But it has to involve your systems of record from that perspective to have the record information. If these records are changing quickly, if you're in seasonal business, say summertime, for anything seasonal, or Christmas, or Thanksgiving, Black Friday, you need to respond by the minute, by the hour at least, in the best cases. And you can only do this if you're close to the transactional system.
Which is what Exadata is doing today.
Correct.
So when we have autonomous database running on Gen 2 Exadata Cloud at customer, in customer data centers, how do other vendors compete with that? Whether they have on-premises hardware, the Dell EMCs of the world, HPE, IBM, or whether they have public cloud nodes like AWS, like Google. How do they compete with a full-blown autonomous database running on Gen 2 Exadata Cloud at customer, where you have the ultimate in machine learning for today?
Well, it's going to be very hard to compete because you spent how many years? 5, 6, 10, confidential number, a lot of time into the R&D. So even if they realize autonomous is the right direction, building converged hardware, integrated hardware systems engineered for running a certain database load, it's going to take them a long time. Even they're trying to imitate this, at least right now, from what's publicly available and stated. They're not even trying to imitate this specifically for the Oracle database. They might be doing this for other loads, right? But there's not really a competition for it.
There's no competition. In fact, who even has an autonomous database besides Oracle right now?
Well, it's an interesting thing to see that your senior CEO is having so much time, or chairman of the board and CTO is having so much fun, and nobody's answering his challenge to the industry to run an autonomous database. That's really interesting for me to see, and shows that either it's not been taken serious and fully understood, or it's being taken serious and being built behind the scenes, or it's too hard to build, and maybe the competition on a traditional transactional database has kind of given up.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next 6 to 12 months in the cloud landscape for sure.
Absolutely.